Welcome to the MNSpiritCast. Well, hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the MNSpiritCast, and I am here with the one and only Squeaky Queen, Sarah Russell. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks for coming on the show with me and coming to celebrate this once in a lifetime show.
Baby girl. Hi, baby girl.
So, welcome everybody to the MNSpiritCast. We are heading back south of the United States today on the MNSpiritCast, and we're traveling from Connecticut to Surprise, Arizona, with an amazing guest that we have never had here on the MNSpiritCast, and they're here to represent the state of Arizona and the paranormal and their team in the state of Arizona. So, let's bring on our panelists. This is Joshua, one of our hunters. Welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Guys. Thanks for having me on.
And thank you for coming on. So let's not keep on waiting. Everybody, please welcome from the town and state of Surprise, Arizona. This is AZ P.I.E. Welcome.
Hey guys.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Not too bad. Doing great. So, first of all, AZ P.I.E is a very unique name, and it makes you want pie for sure. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I want a slice of pie. But what does AZ P.I.E stand for?
So it's Arizona, obviously AZ, and then Paranormal Investigation Enthusiasts.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay. So that's the origin of their name, if anybody is wondering. And you guys are based in Surprise, Arizona. And we'll start by asking, what made you guys want to start investigating paranormal?
Yeah. Well, I definitely had an experience in my teenage years. I don't know if you want to hear just a quick snippet about it. I sleep upstairs with my sister. I did as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up around midnight, heard steps coming up the stairs. They're really creaky. And I went over to the stairs. There's absolutely no one there. The steps were coming closer and closer. I obviously got scared. I ran and grabbed the Bible, started praying out loud, and the steps stopped. And all of a sudden, they just went running down the stairs, and it sounded like a cane was hitting on the side of the stairs going down. And I told people about it. No one believed me. They made fun of me. I kept it quiet for a lot of years, and I just didn't talk about it. Our family didn't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh, it doesn't happen, but it really did. Then I met Heather 4 years ago, and we're like, you know what? Let's just start a team. We both believe. And She's had experiences as well.
Yep, you guys kind of heard a little bit beforehand. So I had a family member that passed away, and even if I put away the picture of us together and I tape it in a box, it somehow shows up on my bed. It was on my dryer one day, and I thought it was my husband messing with me. And so I got frustrated. I was like, why do you keep bringing the picture out? And he's like, I don't even know where your picture is of him. And then just little things that would happen. And then I was like, well, something's going on. And then slowly you start to believe, and then you start to notice other things, and you hone in on things like, oh, well, this is happening. And then slowly I was like, okay, I believe, I turned me right around after that.
Mhm.
And then me and Wendy somehow got on a conversation one day about just experiences. And then we were like, really? You had one too? And it clicked.
I was happy to find someone that was interested like I was. Oh.
And then here we are.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, a lot of people go into the paranormal field with the wrong intentions. They may go into the field for the intention of popularity and financial well-being. But that's absolutely not the case, as we all know, because, you got to put out finances in order to make it happen.
Yep.
You got to do that first before you can make anything off of it. So, but it is hard to find people who are on the same level with you and who share the same interests. So it's good that you did find each other. So, is it just you guys on the team, or?
It is. Right now it's just us. Eventually we'll get more, but we haven't really found that person to,
it's
join.
a trust circle, right? You have to trust that
Right.
when we do it because we really believe, and we make sure that the stuff that we do is
totally respectful,
accurate. It's not, embellished or anything like that. So we, when you bring someone in, you have to make sure that they know that this is something that you take to heart and very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have our husbands help us on hunts. They have little shirts that say, guest investigator and stuff on the back, so that,
That's
they can
cool.
bring the camera and stuff like that. So we have them as our little crew team, and they're our support system.
Yeah.
Very good. And
awesome.
that's also what matters, the support of, whether it be loved ones or anybody, the support is what keeps you going. I know it's what's kept me going this whole time, so that's awesome that you guys do have that system. Really, really good.
Yeah. And we've made some good friends that have come out of investigations, and people that are like family to us now, that we respect completely and that we're in touch with constantly.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, for sure. So next we'll talk a little bit about the history and the paranormal of the state of Arizona. So, do you guys have a ton of activity, or do you think it's more the surrounding states put together with all the activity? Arizona is pretty active, I'm assuming.
Very active all over.
Amazing locations that we get to go to. Very historical spots. There's so many spots with Native American history here, and the wild west.
Exactly.
So you get a lot of locations where that pours out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Now, what would make, let's say somebody, a tourist, let's say there's a paranormal tourist and they wanted to visit the state of Arizona. What would make that state a good place for them to tour just for the paranormal?
They would definitely need to be here for a full month, because there's so many places. The entire town of Tombstone is haunted, and every building you go to, there is a feeling, and there's activity all over down there. I've only been there once, but we're definitely going back again in possibly November.
We've done Jerome, which is a very known spot for paranormal activity.
There's Bisbee.
Bisbee, the Superstition Mountains are well known for, you know, what's the
museum or there's been plane crashes into
yeah,
the
plane
mountain.
crashes in the mountain. We're actually going to be going to Yuma Jail here coming up in November, so that's a big one.
The prison.
Nice.
Prison.
And there's also Globe in Miami. They have a lot of locations like jail, courthouse, train depot, YMCA. They're all active. And we've been to several of those multiple times.
And that's just in a 2-hour radius.
Yeah, it's just everywhere here.
So one of the things I wanted to ask, since Marcus is kind of taking care of something there right quick, is that what has there been any kind of a challenging location where you kind of went in there and you kind of met some challenges, but able to do through investigation, find out the answers for your client and or the places you're investigating? What has been your most challenging place so far?
Vulture. When you say
Would you say Vulture?
I'd say Vulture.
Well, we don't do residential at all, but we just do locations right now.
Yeah, more so Vulture Mine. If you've heard of that one, I think was a game changer for us in our investigations.
Definitely for you.
Definitely for me. And going into it, you know, with one mindset and then coming out completely different mindset, and just the incredible experiences we had, the validation we got, you know, through stuff that happened, and the history and storyline behind it were validated in experiences.
And you got scratched.
And I did. I got scratched pretty bad, actually. It stayed for a few days. I had a little scab.
Yeah, and so during that experience and going through that, kind of made you better investigators, or did it make you adapt to doing it a different, newer way, or what did you get? What were the benefits of that?
I think it allowed us to face some fears. You know, that was the first time where we've had physical on an investigation, right? Where you have your other senses, but we hadn't experienced that physical touch and physical aggression prior. So that was something I think that, you know, now going forward, you know, I think
more cautious.
Yeah, a little more cautious on how we approach them in a more respectful manner.
So one of the things I guess, I don't know if Speaker wants to ask a question here until Marcus gets back to you. He must be having some issues there, but you know, the when you get into this field or get into this kind of a thing, you know, you're going out there and you want to get that evidence, you want to get that proof or something that what has been your most active or best evidence location?
I'll tell you.
I would say Vulture. Would you say?
Okay.
I'd still say Vulture for us has been probably one of our biggest locations all around, and getting to experience it with phenomenal people is also always great. But I would say Vulture has had every ounce of that location, and it's a huge,
big variety.
Yeah, a huge location. There was so much, and you almost can't keep up, and then you question, did this really happen? Because it's just so much activity that you're almost like, is this in our heads or is this really happening?
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
There's nothing bad there.
Yeah. So you have your good and your bad. So
yeah.
there's, you know, and being respectful to the afterlife and what they're going through. And I feel like that's definitely where we learn that. And having, like Wendy said, the good, you know, being able to have those good experiences, but also having those, making sure you don't get attachments and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got to keep yourself safe out there. You know, people think that you just go in and you're doing an investigation and you can't go in there with protection and stuff like that, or you can't go in there with a certain mindset. You have to have the right mindset. You have to have your own protection, your personal belief system, whatever that way is. You got to be able to get in there and be able to say, I'm walking out, I'm not going to take anything home with me. I'm just going to leave you here. I'm here just to communicate with you today, you know?
Yep.
And that's always a challenge, you know, and stuff like that with a lot of the things. So is there any location in Arizona that you haven't been to yet that you've really wanted to go to but haven't been able to get to that you're excited about getting to?
Actually, Birdcage
and Tombstone are on our list, and we actually are in touch with Birdcage. So that is a dream in the making for me, more I think than Wendy. That's been on my list for a long time.
That's possibly November of this year.
Yeah,
so
so
we're gonna finally get there.
We're finally getting there, and I think it's amazing because, you know, it takes some time to build a reputation in this field, and we're finally getting to the point where people know that we're not in it to exploit the location, or, you know, we're not in it to come in with thousands of, you know, things for TV or anything like that. It's really just a genuine investigation. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, Birdcage is it has my heart happy.
Well, can you tell me why that's got you excited at all? Because I'm kind of curious about that a little bit.
Why not? You know what? I think it just has a lot to do with, and it's everyone's opinion, right? But it encompasses everything that I want to see in a location, from the theater portion to the history of it being still actually being able to be used, but having that historical, and
I like the idea of the Wild West factor into it.
that's, you know, there's so many locations here that have such a deep embedded history in the Western, you know, craziness, like the shootouts and the cowboys and Indian stories, you know, that you hear. And like, I just want to be able to really experience some of the locations that we haven't gotten to, that really take that to another level.
And hear more history.
We are big on history.
Yeah, we love history.
We love the history of locations more than anything. We love learning it and researching it, and then being able to go in with an open mind, not knowing what to expect, but just knowing we try not to watch any other investigations that have happened there or anything like that until we do it ourselves.
All right. Well, Marcus is back. You can take back over here when you're all ready there.
Sorry, guys. I had an important call I had to take.
I got
you covered, jump on like that. What
I had you covered.
What I miss?
So we were talking.
He took the helm. You're good.
We were talking about what their favorite locations were. What were the good places that they go in Arizona? We're talking about the ones they're looking forward to a little bit there. You know, the ones that kind of got them inspired, the ones and stuff like that.
Good.
We're talking about that kind of stuff. I was about to ask them if they use any kind of equipment or what they use in their investigations or stuff like that helps them, you know, get that evidence or that proof that they need. You know,
I think you just asked them.
I think I just asked them.
Good question.
Our popular equipment that we use would be the SB7, the Spirit Box. And I like the REM pod. And then the digital recorder. Those are our three main.
We also use the SLS, right? So we do use the SLS Ghost Tube app. We have that, as well as, what is it? Necrophone? Necrophonic. We do have that. We'll use it in
not very often.
Some areas. Really has to apply in that situation, because that's if data. And we also, you know, the good old balls, the lighting balls and stuff like that. We get a lot of activity with trigger objects in jails with the balls.
Yeah. Now, here's sorry, squeakers.
You're good.
I know you guys mentioned Necrophonics, which, as we all know, is a phone app. Do you guys strictly believe in other phone apps, or is it just that one that you believe is quite loyal to peer evidence?
We really don't believe those apps very much, so we don't really rely on those.
Mm-hmm.
We will use them just a couple times,
kind of to validate the activity we've gotten. I would say it's more of a validation process for us, but it's not a reliable process.
Sure.
Especially with the other equipment, because a lot of times we honestly have our phone in airplane mode, so it doesn't mess with the other equipment that we have, because sometimes your phone gives off signals and it can trigger other equipment to give false positives and things. So we try to only pull it out as a validation more than anything.
Not bad. Squeakers, what were you gonna say?
Basically the same that you did.
Oh.
We're both on the same train of
Hey,
thought.
great minds think alike. That's the Minnesota Spear Hunters, baby. That's who we are.
That's how you know you're a good team.
Yeah, right. And we all try to stay in sync with each other, and communication is definitely key. With not only our team but with like any team. To run a successful team, you need good communication. So yeah. But I was going to ask you guys, because we ask all of our guests, considering we're on season 4 of Minnesota SpiritCast, we like to ask a special question of what are your 4 favorite spots to investigate? Or what will 4 your bucket list places be?
I definitely would say Gettysburg for me and Titanic Museum in Missouri. Those are definitely kind of drawing me there. I'm really interested in going to those 2 places. I don't know if you want to.
I wanted Birdcage, which is amazingly going to happen. So that's phenomenal. And then the other one was the
Waverly Hills
Sanatorium. They're
Okay.
definitely ones that we want to hit and hit hard.
Yeah.
Like where we have a weekend to spend there.
Yeah.
I might suggest the Palmer House Hotel in Minnesota.
There you go.
It's a really great hotel. It's claimed to be the most haunted hotel in the state. Some say that it's the most haunted hotel in the country. But I'm not too sure. I have stayed a night there and it's pretty bad. So
Really?
who knows? And hello from Pennsylvania. Right, and that's the thing. You can't release footage when you investigate there because I don't know what the reasoning is, but you're only limited to certain parts of the hotel. So
we found that with some locations we've gone to, there's only certain areas and you can't live stream in certain ones. And, out of respect, I think for...
Yeah. Right. Okay, so here's a question for you guys. When you investigate, do you guys have a pre-investigation setup that you do? Do you do a walkthrough of the place? And what is your setup for equipment and stuff? Do you have certain people doing it? You guys only have yourselves and your husbands, so obviously, you can't separate too many people.
We definitely kind of walk through first. It definitely helps us kind of get an idea of the layout, and we definitely want to know the history, so we try to do any kind of history, anything. But honestly, it depends on the location as to how we want to set up the equipment and what we want to use. I think it really depends on that.
Yeah, we definitely, and it goes off your vibes. That sounds, silly, but, when you get there, what we plan may not even be what happens after you walk. You're just like, wow, this room has is heavy. We need to do a lot more in this room, or, but we do spend time researching each location before we go. We get an idea of the history, what happened. So that way, if something does happen, it's relatable. We understand why it's happening. And then when you're talking to the spirit, you can relate to the spirit and, ask them questions that they're gonna understand and that makes sense to them. Right.
Okay, so what about this? What if your investigation is a very far distance away? And I mean, walkthroughs only last us about an hour or so. If you guys didn't want to drive that if you guys didn't want to drive that long distance for a short walkthrough, do you guys still do a walkthrough, or how does that work?
Sometimes we'll just go earlier, and some locations will give us like a little tour and stuff. I know for the Yuma Territorial Prison, since we're doing that in Global Ghost Hunt in October, I'm actually going down in a couple weeks to check it out and scout and do some measuring and all that stuff ahead of time so we can pre-plan how we're going to do it and set up and ready for that. So we're gonna be going down there. That's like what, 2.5, 3
Almost-
hours away.
It's about 3 hours away. So she's gonna do the drive because she's amazing. She's gonna do the drive for us in advance and then speak to the historical person there and try to, get any maps. Because crazy enough, it's hard to find a map of it online. That's
Yes.
So just to kind of prepare, it's a huge location. So it also depends on the location. If it's a smaller location, we may not need as much time, or if we've been there before. There's some locations that we've done multiple times and we're familiar. But the Yuma Territory is actually a massive location. So we're really going to have to, we do have some people coming in for the Global Ghost Hunt that are going to help us out
And join us
so that we can give a proper investigation and of the whole place, because it's a small amount of time and we'll be there 6 hours. You guys will only see 2. 8 hours. 8 hours. Yeah, we have 8 hours there. So
I definitely know what you guys are talking about. For our May Global Ghost Hunt, we traveled to Washington, Iowa, and the house was huge. It was a wedding venue called the Victorian View. Yep, awesome. And it was just gigantic, and it was a big, beautiful house. But we were there all night long after Global Ghost Hunt ended. And there was just tons and tons and tons of evidence captured after the camera stopped rolling. So, the camera still stayed rolling with the team, but all the good stuff started happening after live videos ended, which is the way it always works. So,
feel free to let us know if it's something that happens to you. Is it usually takes a little bit of time into an investigation. Like if you jump in and you just start investigating and you go live, usually it's kind of cold. You have to really. I feel like the spirits have to warm up to you, just like you have to warm up to them, and there has to be a kind of a trust built. So it takes an hour or two before that. Before they start messing with you.
You gotta have a lot of patience.
Sometimes we don't get anything. It'll be 4 hours and we're just, no EVPs, nothing on the REM pod, nothing. It's just crickets. And then as soon as you go to pack up, stuff starts lighting up. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That's the way it always works, and it sucks. So, as far as you guys' team, AZ P.I.E, what do you guys exactly specialize in? Is it just ghost hunts? Do you do cleansings? Yeah, I guess that's what I'm getting at. Do you ghost hunt, cleansings? What exactly do you specialize in with your team?
Just ghost hunts, what we between the two of us.
Right now we're just doing ghosts.
And we're still learning ourselves. Both have different traits that we found that come out in time a lot more sensitive.
Yeah.
And they really love Wendy. Let me tell you, person when it comes to going into a ghost place, if they're gonna come out, they're gonna come to Wendy.
I wish Facebook would show us who you guys are. It sucks that we can't see who you are. But yeah, so I mean, right now we basically just specialize in ghost hunts too. We do offer cleansings if we need to. We try to sage after each and every investigation. That way, it just keeps the peace for the client after the investigation, and all that stuff. But I do want to expand our research to like maybe UFOs and Bigfoot eventually.
Yes, I love UFOs.
UFOs are interesting, and I have no doubt in my mind that they're real. I absolutely know they exist, but with the paranormal alone, ghosts and spirits, we can't prove anything, gun smoking evidence, but maybe there is a way to prove UFOs are real. So that's what I want to do. I think it would be cool to, and do that with Bigfoot too. because there's a lot of people searching for Bigfoot, and nobody is yet to find him. So
I have a Bigfoot
you know.
right there. I have a Bigfoot right in front of us. My husband loves the Bigfoot, and one of his things is to take time just looking and researching, and following leads. That's something that's definitely would be fun. And then we both believe, you know what, to be honest, if another event like Phoenix Lights happens again, I would be the happiest girl in the world.
Right.
Where it's just like the skies light up and there's no way to say it's not happening, and then you get to really enjoy it. And Wendy,
I've never seen it. So.
I've only seen it on TV, the Phoenix Lights, and believe it or not, living in the desert, I haven't had a huge UFO experience like I wish I could say I did, or, anything shoot across the sky that I questioned.
I have not yet. Not yet.
We're waiting on it.
Yeah.
Yet is the key word.
Someday.
We're hoping.
Yep. All you can do is wait. So, Joshua and Sarah, if you guys got anything, feel free to ask. I don't want to talk over you guys. So,
So with the whole Bigfoot endeavors, would you ever be willing to come to Washington State?
I think I'm willing to go anywhere. I don't think.
I'm from Washington State.
She's from there, and I'm actually from the Poconos originally and the Appalachian Mountains. So,
Okay.
I feel like people from a spot where there's definitely been, familiarity with it. So I think we're down for any adventure.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, what's your dream piece of evidence or capture that you're hoping to get one day? That thing that's going to go boom, we can put that out there and say, ooh, without a shadow of a doubt, we've got something right here. You can't deny it. What is your dream piece of evidence you are looking for?
I would like to see an apparition sometime.
I was going to say the same thing, like a Polaroid. When you take your Polaroids and you hope that you're going to have that figure, or you take your photos of the room and you're hoping that you go through them and something changes. We haven't had that experience as of yet, but that would be amazing to have a physical picture to be able to look at and see, do you see that? That's who we were talking to.
That you can't deny.
I will say currently I'm kind of jealous that Wendy is very popular. Whenever we say, can you say our names? They always say Wendy. I can't get Heather, but they always know Wendy.
What was I going to say? My hamster wheel decided to die on me. Have you ever considered bringing someone like me along to one of your investigations, a medium or someone who would help you in those investigations? Have you ever considered bringing that into the mix at all?
We actually have. I mean, hey, come on down.
We have, I think we had kind of the meeting experience at Vulture with the, so when we go to Vulture, there is a amazing group of tribal representatives that come down, and they are mediums for, all purposes. They can tell us almost anything before it happens, it feels like. And they also put protection over us, and they're a phenomenal group of people. And I wish I had you guys' talent. It's amazing that you're able to just, like before when we were talking, you were able to describe someone almost to a T.
Yeah, I got something else for you later too.
It's so amazing. So that would be great to have that other sense that we don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know I'm a junior investigator. I'm just getting into the paranormal field as far as an investigation, but I've been talking to spirits since I was a young boy, so it's nothing new to me. But I've only ever heard them or seen them. My goal is to see that apparition. That's what I want to see. Is that my first apparition? Because I very rarely see anything. So that's kind of what gets me going. I want to get out there and see that something that I can go, oh, I finally saw something, and then have proof that I actually saw it. On top of it would be nice, Is there anything that scares you guys that you don't want to run into, or is there anything you kind of shy away from? Are there any kind of investigation where you say, no, we're not really going to get into that kind of stuff?
We had one instance where we did get a little nervous. We were at the YMCA down in Globe, what, 2 months ago? Maybe?
Yeah.
2 months ago, and it's known to have like a creeper there, and it kind of moves around. And we were in complete darkness in a gymnasium, and you're moving around us really fast, all different directions, and that kind of made us nervous for the first time.
Yeah, I would say, if I had to say, we try to not mess with when we know that it's a more aggressive or negative. I don't feel like just coming into the field, we're quite ready for that just yet. I don't think that we have enough behind us to give us enough protection to not affect anyone around us. We want to be able to come home with the safety and be able to detach ourselves from the investigation once it's done. And so attachments are a scary thing for me personally. I definitely don't want to bring anything home to my family. So I'm very, very careful of negative entities until that if in the future.
Yeah, it's always good to stay safe and make sure that you're only doing the kind of investigation you're comfortable with at the time. Because you don't want to bite off more than you can chew, get in there, and then all of a sudden have to be running out of somewhere because you just don't want to be attacked by this thing anymore, and then have it try to follow you home and then mess with you at home. No one wants that. No, not even someone like me wants that.
Now, what would be a good protection? A good method of protection for you guys. What do you guys do to protect yourselves?
We stay now.
We have been prayed over. And we do get protection over us, just to be sure. If we feel like we're overstepping boundaries by any means, we'll always remove ourselves from the situation and reset. We may not necessarily leave, but we need to know that there's a mutual respect between us and the spirits. Understand that you're going to come in contact with spirits that may not be happy, but you just need to know that you can help them and they're not going to be offended.
Mm-hmm.
And if we feel they don't want us there, we're gonna definitely just back out and go. We're totally respect anything that they're wanting. We're in their space.
Like the scratch, that was a good sign for me that I moved my in that scenario.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was gonna. It's just there. I just had it.
Happens every day.
Hate when that happens.
So, what is your guys' favorite place that you've investigated while we're waiting? What would you say yours best has been?
I think my favorite would definitely be that Victorian View in Iowa. One that I haven't been to, but the team has, was Edinburgh Manor in Iowa. It's like a giant institute that ran for 100 years and just crazy activity. I didn't go, but the team did, and it looked great, and I would love to go. So I think that would be mine.
Sounds good.
I really want to go to the Palmer House myself. That's kind of my dream location, to go there and get my feet wet a little bit in there, because I hear there's so many things about the activity there and the ghosts being really interactive with you, and they're used to ghost hunting and people as well and stuff like that. So just getting to be that interactive experience, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Just getting out there and actually doing some investigations, because like I said, I'm still a baby here, so I'm still working my way up to it. So I don't have a favorite quite yet, because I haven't been to enough yet. So what about you, Peaks?
Well, it's funny because I'm also kind of just getting back on my feet and getting out there. But I think one of my ultimate favorites was with Brian James when we went to the Freemason building here in Spokane. That was an interesting night. We got a lot of things. We had a big crew and just a lot of unexpected moments that was just awesome. So it was fun.
Good.
But yeah.
So are there any other things that you guys are looking forward to coming up soon that you guys are getting ready to do, or anything that you got up and coming that you kind of want to tell people about at all, that you'd like to let people know where you're going next or something like that?
We're going to be doing a paranormal day down back. We're going to go back to the YMCA. We're going to be going, paranormal is going to be hosting that.
It's a paracon, is what they're
Kind of,
calling it,
yeah.
like a paracon. And then, so it's nice because it'll be a group of investigators we're familiar with, which is great, that we're familiar with how they investigate. And, after a cool lunch and hanging out and telling stories and talking, we're going to do an investigation that night. So it's going to be a full day of, ghost fun.
Are you talking about the one in Illinois?
No, this one's in Globe.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Globe, Arizona.
I was going to say, there's in October, there's the exact same thing going on at the YMCA in Rock Island, Illinois, and we're going to be there.
What? That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I was about to get excited. I'm like, no way you guys are going to be there.
And then in a couple of weeks, we are going to the Superstition Mountain Museum.
We are doing
That sounds cool.
Which is a huge step for us, because we've kind of shied away from the Superstition Mountains, I feel like.
Yeah.
We've never been there yet, so
It's a big deal on our side. There's a lot of different activity from a lot of different angles. So I'm excited.
There's the Enlightened Souls Paranormal team. Hey guys, thank you. So we're gonna go and take a short little break. When we come back, we'll ask you guys a few more questions. Audience, feel free to ask questions as well, and then you guys can ask us anything you might be curious about. So, short break, and we'll see you back here in just a second.
Okay, perfect.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're here with AZ P.I.E, and we are promoting the state of Arizona and all the paranormal. And somebody says hi.
Hi, baby girl.
She's got a cookie and she's quiet, so we're good.
good.
So, one thing I wanted to ask you guys before we went into break. Do you guys, for one, believe in cryptids?
Yeah, definitely, because Bigfoot would be a cryptid. I think Bigfoot's out there. I mean, I was born, in the Pacific Northwest, and Bigfoot was a thing all the time. So it's out there. We just haven't found him yet.
Right, exactly. Now, a question that leads into that: would Bigfoot be your favorite cryptid that you would like to research, or do you have a different one that you would like to look into?
I think Bigfoot, definitely.
Just because who doesn't want to solve that mystery, right?
Exactly.
Right.
That's
You know,
the most
somebody
popular one.
somebody one day is going to find him. He may be good
I
at
think so.
hiding. He's going to be found. I believe he will be found. Who's going to find him? I don't know.
Wi-Fi
So.
disconnected. Are we here?
Yes.
Yep, you're still here.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, we can
lost-
still see you. You're good.
Okay.
So,
You're- See? This is my friend that's hanging out in the
Oh,
front.
it's a mini.
Ah, you got Bigfoot right there with you. I
He's
think
missing
you
his
found
jack links though.
Devil.
I think you found Bigfoot.
Problem solved. What's
Right?
the next we need to work on? That was easy.
Right, exactly. Squeakers, what you got going on up there? You got any questions?
Well, kind of a random one. What would you guys actually do if you saw a full apparition? Would you be ecstatic? Would you pass out? I mean, that question is
stand
never
there.
asked.
I'd be shocked. I think it would be shock, and then I'd probably squeal and be like, "Did you see it too? Did you see it?"
I'd be making sure I'm filming it. I don't care if Heather gets hurt. I'll push her out of the way and still keep filming. I don't care.
We've had scenarios where I've toppled over her when I've gotten stunned, and she's like, "I'm filming," and she does not move. She stands her ground.
I
So-
want it documented.
She's
You
the
can do
logic. I have more emotion.
You can do whatever you want to me, but make sure it's on camera.
That's
Yes.
Wendy.
Yes.
Wendy is our logic, our documentation. Like, she will make sure it's documented twice and then recorded a third time to be sure. Whereas I'm in the moment and I'm like, "Did you see it?" And then I'll like jump for joy and I forget to record everything. So that's why we're good for each other. Because we'd have nothing if it were up to me.
Right, right.
So have you been able to help any of your clients get those answers? Have you has there ever been a good investigation where you were able to get your client some answers they haven't gotten before yet, or anything like that? Like something they were hoping to get a little bit more evidence of, and you guys happen to come to them with those answers?
So, and it's funny, 'cause you mentioned, or you told us that Trip was with us. And we did kind of a private investigation after my friend's son passed at the area of his passing. It was an unexpected event. So it was out in the desert, and we went out there and we were able to really just kind of validate that he's with her. And he, would answer on cue for things and light things up on cue. So I would say that was probably the most satisfying thing that we've ever done, is really just
Knowing we helped.
her and gave her that validation she needed that her baby boy was still around her.
Yes.
It was heartbreaking at the same time.
I bet it was.
And then you said he's still here, and that makes me so happy to know that he still comes to visit us. So he didn't forget us, because she lives right down the street, but she stayed with us for a while. She stayed at my home until her new house. And we would always turn the light on, or, throw a ball down the stairs, which is funny why you say ball when you said it to me.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before we got on, and it was talking about some of my intuitions were kicking in. I was telling them something that they want to know, and I was kind of validating some stuff for them, I guess. So
Did, but that was definitely our most satisfying.
good. Thank you.
Now, in you guys' opinion, what would be your most intense case that you've ever taken on before?
Me.
Now, I really think that Yuma Jail is going to bring more, or Yuma Prison, I apologize, I messed up the name again. Yuma Prison is going to bring us more than we expect, and it's something that, you know, I feel like is a huge turning point in our, you know, investigations as a team, because it is such a pivotal location. So I feel like we determined, but you'll see it on Global Ghost Hunt with us. Hopefully it gives us everything that we want and more, and I'm sure it will.
I'm very sure it will. I mean, it sounds like a very exciting place. You guys are gonna have your hands pretty full. It sounds like a pretty big place too. So,
Thank you.
oh yeah, bless you.
Hi, Steve.
Very polite.
Bless you.
So, I have one question, but my hamster wheel actually broke too, and I can't remember what it was.
Darn those hamsters. Get back on the wheel.
I know. And it was a good question too.
I guess I can ask one. How'd you guys meet as a team?
You know, we all just kind of met out of the blue. Joshua actually met us through a different team member, didn't you?
Yeah, I met you through a different team member who was with the team at the time, and then I don't know. And then at that time, I kind of got introduced a little bit, and then kind of some waiting happened there, and then kind of finally said, "Hey, you want to come be a part of the team?" Went and got my kind of interview, and I was going to ask Marcus about that. My first investigation, I had like an hour-long communication with the spirit, and kind of was my kind of validated moment that kind of said, "Hey, there's actually something here communicating with," and I got some physical proof from that. So that kind of made me excited, not only to be a part of that investigation. It did wear me out that day, but I was glad I went, because it was, that one part was worth it, you know. So
that one wore us all out. I mean, we were all super energized going in, coming out, yeah, not so much.
yeah.
That one was bad. So, and then Sarah is in Washington State. I think we also met through somebody else in the field as well.
We did. We met through. So I met a few people through Brian James, and then I think I met you through Matt, and then.
No, I met you through Brian James, actually.
Through Brian James as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
But maybe. So we actually have what, 12 team members?
Wow.
So we have a pretty big team. And we all just kind of met. I put out applications and stuff on Facebook when Facebook jobs was still a thing. So I put up an application, and I would get tons of applications the day after I put it up. And everybody just had great potential. When they came to the team, everybody had a great attitude. And that's all you look for in a team member. You can look for somebody who shares the same passion and who you know will treat your team pretty well. So I think each and every one of my team members does pretty well at that. So
Good.
except for Sarah bouncing off the walls up there.
Yeah, I'm the floating head. If
Are you the
anyone's
rowdy
here-
one?
Yeah. So floating head.
Yep, still have yet to meet her in person, which, you know, maybe
will.
someday, but we
in
will
2
someday.
years.
So
2 years, 2 more years.
oh yeah, we're
I'm not
hosting.
missing that Paracon.
Yeah, we're hosting a Paracon. I forgot about that.
Whoops.
You'll get me on a plane eventually.
You can tell how much I've been working on my own event.
And unless a buddy's willing to come down and get me. Otherwise it's gonna have to be a plane, and then I don't like flying.
I'm sorry, we can't come down to get you because you're all the way up north.
I know, right?
But yeah, I mean, everybody meeting each other was pretty scattered out, but I don't regret a thing, and I enjoy each and every one of my team members as if they're family. So I have a great team.
Sounds like, yeah.
So, and then how did you guys how did you say you two met?
We're actually next door neighbors.
Oh, really?
have it, we're next door neighbors, and we just randomly got on the conversation one day about, and which is odd because I normally don't talk to people about that at all. I'm not very, open. I wasn't, when I was first doing investigations, I should say, I wasn't as open as I am now about what, experience have happened, my, what I believe in, because, some people just aren't on the same page or haven't had that understanding. And so if you bring it up to me, I'll definitely acknowledge, but for some reason it's just a conversation came up and we were like, really, you believe too? And then it was just from then on out, ride or die.
It was meant to.
It was really, it was something out of some kind of a storybook line, because it's not something we do. Yeah. So, and we work with each other so well. She, where I slack, strengths are, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
So, and we know each other, trigger signs, someone drowning, and overwhelmed or overstimulated or anything like that. So if we notice it, she'll be like, Heather, you're acting weird. Heather, you got crazy eyes. So,
and we make fun of each other.
Yeah, it's a light, a light situation. It's a little dark sometimes. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, and everybody has their ups and downs. I've been through. I've hired and fired many team members since I opened my team. If you can see that people isn't in it for what you expect them to be, there's no sense in having them. So, and it's always said everybody's replaceable, but like you guys seem invincible together. So that's awesome that you found each other, and you actually share the same interests. So, you can't.
I like you guys get to investigate with your best friend,
right? Yeah.
And you know what? And having that mutual respect for the paranormal is huge to us. And that was something I think when you had stepped away, we talked about. It's so hard to invite. They have to have that respect for the afterlife. They have to have that respect for the entities and not be someone that takes it as a mockery. It's a huge thing for us. And also, we're not one to entice the spirits. It's very much a respected thing. So we're not ones to sit there and try to aggravate a spirit just to get activity.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like to provoke, in other words.
Oh, no. We are not
provoking it. That's always usually the better. I find that's always a better way to talk to them, because if you're talking to them like they're a normal person, they're going to respond like a normal person. If you're treating them like an negative spirit, sometimes they'll just do that just because that's what you expect them to do. So,
right.
And sometimes they don't realize they're not with us. They may not realize that they've passed. They're stuck in that wheel, and you talk to them with this respect. You would do that if they were standing in front of you. So why would you do it just because you can't? So
yeah.
See, and that's why I've always had a pretty big rule on asking how did they die, or when did they die, or where did they die, because some of them might not know they're dead, So, and that might just make it worse because they're going to be, upset or depressed or something, and things just might change, so there's certain questions during an EVP session that you got to watch what you say. Otherwise, you're going to affect the spirits and maybe yourself too. So
they have reactions just like we do,
Yes.
So those reactions are definitely how you see.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, they used to be alive just like we are.
Exactly.
And in the future, we're probably going to be investigated too. So,
Oh,
to be investigated.
That'd be a lot of fun.
I may taunt someone a little bit, like poke them a little bit, and then run around and poke the other side. I may mess with someone.
we're gonna have a lot of fun when we. I know exactly who I'm gonna pick on.
Yep.
Oh God.
I got a list. And Josh was at the top.
I will communicate, great. No worries.
All right. So, but I actually don't have any more questions that I can think of right now. But Sarah and Joshua, do you guys got anything else for them?
Honestly, what is new on your agenda for the next upcoming half of 2023? I know you said the bird. Is it the
Birdcage.
forget what it's called. Thank you.
Birdcage Theater.
Thank you.
We're doing the Birdcage Theater,
Superstition Mountain
Superstition Mountain Museum,
Paranormal Day,
yeah, we have that coming up, Paranormal Day.
and then the Yuma Territorial Prison for Global Ghost Hunt.
Yep, and then you know what? After that, you know, we hope to expand. We've really been trying to get some bigger locations, and really challenge ourselves. I feel like in our investigation skills, and you know, just being able to kind of be like you guys and bring more out to the public than we have before. So I feel like 2024 is going to be a year of challenges for us and making sure we hit really, really good locations.
And we talked about maybe going out of state a little bit. So
yeah, venturing out of Arizona is definitely what we'd love to do, and hit a couple key spots that, you know, we really are interested in, that we spoke about. Where you never know, things have honestly come up to us that weren't on our list, but we were invited to do, and those are amazing events too when you don't plan them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I would think a really good question for you guys. First of all, what would be a great piece of advice to give a newcomer in the paranormal field?
my main thing would be show total respect, and you'll get that in return.
Absolutely.
Respect is definitely number one.
Definitely number one on our list. I would say another one is have fun. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
It's an amazing thing to be able to speak to another realm per se and communicate, and be able to have the technology to do so is amazing. So being able to really just go out there with utmost respect and really just have fun with an open mind. We love investigating more than anything. It's honestly probably what we thrive to do the most, is just have fun.
I myself would like to investigate instead of going to work every day. That would be nice.
Say that every day.
that would be very nice. Unfortunately, we can't make that happen.
No.
And I did say I would love a goal of being able to do something like you, where we do a podcast, you know, here and there, to be able to speak to people about what we've experienced and where we've experienced. So I think it's really cool that you guys do this, and thanks so much that you thought of us. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And you know, you guys have been great guests. Absolutely. And I'd love to have you back on the show again. I'll definitely keep in contact with you guys. This Facebook user wants to know if you're ever going to Pennsylvania. They say there are so many places to investigate.
There are. I've done a few. I don't know where they are in Pennsylvania, but I have done Penn Hills, the Penn Hills Inn, which is like a resort area. And then I actually low-key went to the Buck Hill, and even though you weren't supposed to.
Now we all know.
Now we all know.
She's the naughty one.
You gotta be naughty.
Curiosity killed the cat, I'm telling you. But it's not there anymore. So I'm glad I did, because they have since demolished it, and it's not anything I'll ever be able to experience again, and it was phenomenal. So but I would love to see if they have recommendations. I go back to Pennsylvania quite frequently. So drag
there you go. I didn't hear a thing, they say. All right, guys. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys coming on, sharing your stories about AZ P.I.E and the state of Arizona, and just generally talking about all things paranormal with us. You guys were a last-minute fill-in for a guest that couldn't make it, so I thank you for that. And I want you guys to know you guys are really great guests. And it's an open door for Minnesota Spiritcast. You guys are welcome back anytime.
We
Definitely.
would love it. We would love it.
We would love it. We'll have to keep in contact over,
Most
these next
definitely.
couple months coming up to Global Ghost Hunt.
Yes. We'll have to get you guys up here to Minnesota. You ever been to Minnesota?
Not yet, but I'm sure we will sometime.
There's
mean-
there's that yet again. There's that yet.
There's
right.
there's always a good long weekend ahead of us where we could come.
Absolutely. Well, I'll be waiting.
Okay.
You too, Squeakers. You better come with them.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, guys, so thank you for being on the show. We appreciate everything that you guys have shared with us. And if anybody wants to know more about AZ P.I.E, check out the links in the description of this podcast and go and give them a like, follow, share, do what you got to do. Show a little love to them. So this has been AZ P.I.E. Thank you guys very much, and we'll keep in contact.
Thank you.
Thank you again for having us.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening, guys.
Nice to meet
You
you guys.
too. Have a good
Bye.
night. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, and Squeakers, Joshua, always a pleasure to see you guys. Great show. And from what I hear, Arizona is one of the most haunted states in the country, especially Tombstone, Arizona alone. I've heard so many stories in this birdcage theater that they're talking about. We had a guest on our show like 3 times already between all 4 seasons, and he's talked about it. And his name is Rob Guttrow, and he writes Pets in the Afterlife books.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
Yes, right.
Him.
And I believe he talks about the Tombstone Theater in his latest one.
Mhm.
So yeah, he does. And so we'll have to read a little bit of that and bring him back on the show too, so we can talk a little bit about it as well. But anyway, it's been a great show. You guys are awesome.
Can I give a
if-
shout out real quick?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I'd like to give a shout out to Provoke Paranormal for coming back into the paranormal field, and they are actually going to. I know I'm going to say this wrong, and he's going to clobber me. It's Belglade Prison tonight, so
Ah,
I'm hoping they get some pretty good evidence out there.
yeah, absolutely. Hope you guys have a great time over there at the prison. Number one thing is being safe, so please be safe. But make sure you have a great investigation, captures the great footage, and I can't wait to see it. So great shout out.
I'm
Thank
excited
you.
for him.
If AZ kind of still there after stream, I wanted to talk to them about one thing that I had for them as well. So I don't know if they're still there or not, but
They're not still there, but I can get you back in contact with them.
all right, thanks.
So no problem. So all right, guys. Well, if anybody here is watching and you're curious as to what is behind all of us right here, these are our thumbnails that are made for each and every podcast that we're doing. And as you see, there's the McDonald's logo, and everything on there. So our goal with these thumbnails is actually I'll let Squeakers explain because she's the one that makes all of them. So the McDonald's logo is a fun little fact about Arizona, because Arizona is where the first McDonald's was built, correct? In the state,
Correct.
in the country, in the USA. So,
Correct.
and then Joshua, we're gonna move you over, or here we'll bring you right back. We have a few things here.
I'm being put on the spot.
Yeah, I just wanted to point it out. There's some pretty cool things on each and every one of the thumbnails. And my shout out goes to Squeakers, because Squeakers has she's bent over backwards to help me with this show since I want to say season 2 started. I didn't know her during season 1, but when season 2 started, that's when we met her, and she's bent over backwards to help me out, and I thank you for that very
You're
much.
welcome.
You got a
You're very
shout out,
welcome.
Joshua?
No, but I don't have anything. I was just saying thank you in sign language.
Oh,
Mhm. Care for the
I
way
don't
you
know
put-
how you say you're
I
welcome.
aim that.
I don't. But yeah, so
Oops. Oh well, I goofed up.
You're okay.
Dun dun dun! Epic fail.
And we're still
Okay,
not.
I think it's time for me to go.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, you guys have been great as usual. Great show, and I really enjoyed the guests. And Joshua will get you back in contact with them, and we hope you guys can catch AZ P.I.E here back on Minnesota SpiritCast in the future, because they're a great team. So that's all there is to it. So, all right, guys. Well, you guys have a good one, and catch us next week when we are in the state of Illinois. That will take place next Saturday at 6 p.m. and we will have Eternal Paranormal, Alicia. Hopefully, I ain't saying that wrong. But we'll have Eternal Paranormal from Illinois, and that will be our next stop on the ALL American Paranormal Tour. So catch us then. But until then, that's all we got for tonight. So we'll see you guys next time. Happy hunting.